Hi, my name's Bill. It's Easter 2011, and we're going to demonstrate something I've never done, which is to grill a 20-pound turkey on a 22-inch Weber grill. We're kind of in a hurry here, so we just went ahead and got our coals started. And for this grill, they tell you to do 25 coals per side. As you can see, I've got the Weber rails, which are helpful. So they're started, and inside the house we're prepping the bird, putting some herbs in there and some onions and all the seasoning inside and out. We're going to put some butter under the skin, that type of thing. Usually we do like an herb butter mix, but we didn't have time for that. So we're just going to get this thing on there because it's getting late. Blackhawks are playing tonight, so we got to get this dinner done. So we'll see you in a minute with the bird. Okay, as you can see, here we are. We're in the kitchen. This is Callie, and there's our bird. We've stuffed it with fresh herb packets. I think we've got rosemary, sage, thyme in there, and a giant Vidalia onion. We've tied the legs together, so it's stuffed with some stuff, not too tight. And we're going to season the outside, tuck the wings behind, and we'll put it on the grill. So we should be ready in about 5 more minutes. Could you get the door for me? Sure. All right, well, here we are. As you can see, our coals are ready. They're all white. And we'll mark time here because I think in about 50-60 minutes, we'll check the bird and add 8 coals per side, right on top, right through the holes, right on top of the pile of coals to keep the heat up. And we're going to cook this bird with the breast side up. Again, this is a 20-plus pounder. Not much over 20. A little big, but it does fit. We checked that the lid would allow this bird to fit in there, and it just makes it with about an inch clearance. Looks like we need a new handle for our grill. So here we go. Cover it up. We'll have to get a coat hanger. Boy, that you can see the breast is right there through the hole. I've actually heard of people when the bird was too big that they actually cracked the backbone to get the bird to flatten out a little bit more, but I think we're okay. You know, as I look through the holes here, I can see we're about an inch away there, and I think just the very highest part is just barely touching the top of the grill. So we'll be back in about 50-60 minutes to add coals, see how it's doing. Total cooking time should be about, according to the directions I've read for poultry, I think this is going to be in the 4.5 to 5 hour range. And we've got our digital thermometer to check the temperature and the thigh and the breast meat and all that. So we'll see. Okay, it's been about, I think about 50-55 minutes since we started this. So we're going to take this lid off. I'm going to install this sort of jerry-rigged handle. And then Callie's going to add 8 coals per side, like the directions say, to keep the fire hot. Get this out of the way. Whoa, let's go. Yeah, it's 8 per side, Cal.
No, I did.
Okay. Get this on here. Have to do a little better job of this later, but for now, got a little wire and a spring. Bird's looking pretty good. A little concerned about the wings getting burnt. Just want to redistribute these a little bit. Not real happy with my original charge of coals has burned down pretty far. So instead of 8 per side, I'm going to go to 9. I'm just going to throw an extra one there just for good measure. Give it a little tap, kind of invigorate the coals a little bit. A little browning on the top, not bad. I'm surprised how brown it is already. we might want to put some foil on these wings next time around to kind of protect them from burning too much. But yeah, so far so good. So back on it. Another little tip they give you is to, I guess, have this outlet hole going with the wind. You get better airflow, but it seems to be burning good. I hope the fire's not too low, but that 9% per side should pick up and then reheat the dome, and it'll be fine. So we'll come back and do this again in about 50, 60 minutes. Grab our little handle. Oh yeah, looking good. Again, I think I'm going to stir these up a little bit. Some of these coals haven't even lit yet, unfortunately. I do think we waited a little too long to put the first 8 in. I think it died down a little bit too much. So I'm going to try and invigorate this fire a little bit. Do some poking, make sure we got plenty of air coming in there. Definitely was considering putting foil on these wings, but they don't look bad. I think they're going to be okay. This side's looking a little bit better. But again, we'll get those coals in tight and focus the fire behind these little grills here. So again, I think I'm going to go with 9 per side. And again, you try and distribute them evenly in your little pile. 2, 3, 4. Doesn't count. 5. Missed that one. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, so it's looking pretty good. I'm tempted to spin this around. This side's, or move the bird. Seems like the bird's sort of stuck. Let me grab a couple gloves here. And just rotate this. Sometimes if you have a discrepancy in your fire on either side, you rotate it one time. And there's a couple onions that fell out earlier. I'll put those back in there. There we go. Come back in another 50-55 minutes. All right, so it's been about 4 hours now since we started cooking, and the one thing I wanted to point out is typically people put like a foil pan under the bird to catch the drippings, to make gravy and whatnot, but also to keep it from going out on your deck or whatever. But as you can see, we have a steady little drip and a little lake of fat and turkey juice underneath the Weber. So that's not what you're supposed to do, but in this case it's okay. You know, we were in a hurry. So let's check this thing out. Wow, that is brown. We probably ought to take the temperature of this thing. The legs still seem rather stiff, so I'm sure we've got at least a half an hour to an hour to go. And the fire's doing okay. There you go, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's get that in there. Make sure everything is involved with the other hot coals, so they get to burning quickly. Yeah, we're looking good. So maybe in a half an hour we'll check the temperature. By the way, the last time I came out here a few minutes ago and I did brush some I brushed some butter over the whole bird to try and get it a little more crispy. But I was thinking of tenting this, but I think it's fine, so I'm just going to let it go. 4.5 hours into this cooking process. Let's see how it's looking. Oh yeah, nice and brown. The coals are still going. I'm going to take a couple temperature checks. I guess they say the deepest or the thickest part of the thigh. I'm never quite sure where that is, but let's give it a try right here. Go in, back out a little bit. Let's see what we get. Fahrenheit. Wow. That's already 100, that's 184. Well, we might be done here. And then the breast. Back it out. 167. I think we're done, Dan. Let's pull it. So I'm going to go get, boy, sooner than I thought. Maybe our fire was hotter than I realized. But this is definitely done. So I'm going to go grab the, I'll go grab the tray and we'll pull this thing out of here. Okay.
Am I holding the turkey?
Yeah. I'm going to pull it out, lower it. It's going to be heavy.
Bracing myself.
Okay. Okay, we're ready to pull this thing. This is what I got. Maybe spatula in and then the fork over here. We'll put that in there. Get it released from the bottom. Okay. Why don't you put the pan down, huh? That might make more sense. It's safer. Okay. It's in. We did it. 20 pounds. I think it worked out great. They don't recommend it, but I think it's fine. It's not too burnt, and you know, there's a little burning here and there, but it looks good. So it's a butterball. It's Easter. It's 20 pounds, and we're gonna go let it rest inside for about 15-20 minutes before we carve it, and have a great meal. Happy Easter.